All right, so a few things other we want to add on to behavior and what pigs will do. Want a little marshmallow? You watch sometimes, and a lot of times, gentle. They've been all taught gentle, so I don't shoot my fingers off. Pigs, you can tell a lot by their tail here. When they're mad, they'll pin it down. When they're happy, it'll get to the point that they kind of wiggle it. And if you've seen in other parts of this video, you'll see when they're happy campers, they'll start wiggling their little tails, meaning they're very, very happy. Aren't you? Are you a happy girl? Are you a happy girl? And they're not biting you, so that helps too. If you look at this pig right over here eating, his tail, well, now they're fighting, so you can see the tail get pinned. But he's a very happy pig. Just like a dog, exactly. The other thing is they're nest builders. Now, I've just got some shavings over there. They don't poop or pee. This is the corner they lay in. The fan is blowing down directly on them. If I had straw in here, they would be pushing all the straw and literally build themselves a nest. Pigs can handle it at 20 below. We've had them here before. Lots of straw, lots of feed, and fresh water, and they can do a great job of living in the winter. You just can't throw them into it, that's for sure. Pigs can warn each other, and you look at all the happy tails now. Okay, so we threw some feed on the ground. They're rooting around looking for the good pieces. Their tails are happy. The flies are in here, but not too bad, so they're relaxed. It's a little warm. I'm dripping wet, but they're happy. And they know I got treats, don't you? Let's see, can you show them your teeth? Pigs have a jaw almost like a German Shepherd. We do clip with the side clippers their needle teeth. I gotta keep this up high somewhere. Let's see, will you show your, come here. He's like, come here, show your teeth. I don't know if you can see in there, kind of hard, but there is some big old teeth in there. But they do have their whole nose here is one giant muscle. Very, very strong. I've seen them lift the back corner of a pickup truck, itching themselves, and take their nose and lift it straight up. This is all about the laws of physics with pigs. They're short in stature, they're wide, they can get leverage and use themselves as a lever to literally, and a fulcrum to pull things up. So lots of science when it comes to moving pigs and where they're at, etc. So talking about olfactory again, pigs, when they're nervous and worried, will go to the bathroom. Especially they'll urinate. That urination that they give off will actually cause other pigs distress. It's a warning sign. So if something's going on, we do it in gradual steps on the farm. Because once an animal starts stressing, it stresses everybody out. And so what we find is when they're in a confined area and I confine them and don't let them go anywhere else, that becomes a huge problem. That huge problem is that they don't like confinement. So what happens is they start biting on bars. They start doing naughty things they're not supposed to be doing. They start self-chewing and things along that line. They're bored, basically, is what happens. They need things to do. They need enrichment. They need the environment that's cool, that they can move around in. They're not allowed to go outside right now because we're doing this video, but they need something to do. You can hear, once in a while, a squeak. Their communication is very vocal. When pigs are happy, pigs bark, believe it or not, and run around. They will squeak at each other, they'll growl at each other literally when they're fighting over different circumstances and what's happening. So where this water is, it's nice and cool down there because it's constantly wet and kind of muddy. And everybody likes to, that's like the prime spot to lay. Except then they got to deal with the flies is one of the issues. But as you notice, just their body, they're passing by each other, they're not fighting over the food as much. Overall, these hogs, which are finished products, ready to go. If you look at this female, or this barrow, excuse me, since he's laying down, if you notice the size of their body, pigs are just like, kind of like dogs. I mean, you can, watch out guys, you can scratch on their bellies. Again, these are show pigs, it's a little different. This is the naughty one, I call her. She's She's the little troublemaker, aren't she? We spend a lot of time with the pigs so that they're teaching. These guys are, you know, 4-H FFA animals, but they're also for teaching and things like this when classes from the college come out to my house. As you can see, how relaxed. The more you work with them, the more relaxed they get. That one's chewing on that one's tail, but he's not biting it off. If you notice, this one found a piece of twine in here. He's not going to eat it. He's going to drag it around, play with it, throw it at each other. It's kind of amazing when we look at when an animal is totally relaxed like this, what they'll do for you. You could teach a pig just about anything, and pigs are very smart. Now, are they dirty? That's something we hear a lot of. People always think pigs are dirty. They're dirty right now. They haven't been washed. They only go to the bathroom over in that corner or outside. As long as I clean up, we clean up every day and sweep at least once, if not twice a day. They keep very clean actually overall, except for when they're going out in the mud. And they love being brushed. They love that kind of intelligence that they really do have. Again, when we're moving, if we had to separate, you're going to get behind that shoulder, make them go forward, just like with any animal. We'll also use the sorting boards and things along that line. The olfactory, again, going back, is the smell. If they urinate, they're going to warn the other animals. They could give out warnings, but you can also get them to do a lot of things with their smell too. They have a very, very, like, it's supposed to be 1,000 times greater than humans. When they actually hunt for truffles in the forest, they use pigs for hunting and sometimes dogs. Believe it or not, they're trained because they have such a good rooting ability and ability to smell. I can start feeding or bring marshmallows out and they know, I mean, besides the hearing, the smell part of it, the treat. When you're going on to, you're going to unload at the market, whoever's generally off the trailer first pees, and it's usually if they do some kind of stress when they're getting off that trailer, they will let all the other pigs on that trailer know bad, danger. And what'll happen, it'll be hard to move those pigs past that point because they will have left smells in the air. They will left off pheromones that will warn everybody else of danger and things that are happening. So just to go through some terms now of when we're talking about all these pigs, we're going to go over to this next pen here so I can kind of be in a little bit cooler spot and stand in front of the area. You can see this barrel right here is defecating in the corner like he's supposed to. It's kind of funny how they have this spot as their area. So young females that have not given birth, such as that young lady over there, she was born, these big pigs are born about January 1st and they're ready to butcher now, and it is July 1. So in 6 months they have flipped and they're ready to go. So young females are gilts. Young males, which would be this one, all three of these are barrows. Before, when they're born as a boar. They still have testicles. Now if you look at this boy right here, this would have been where his testicles were. It's kind of a soft area here. But they're born with their testicles inside of their body, not outside of their body. So we have to actually make 2 slits on the underside and take them out. It's a little bit different technique. We don't ban them. They have to be surgically removed. When they're a barrow then, they'll just have this soft flap. And then here's the gilt. When we look at gilts, especially the breeding type of gilt, we're going to look for that tit vulva. And then we want, for number of teats on the bottom line, we want an equal number of teats. So if, you know, you scratch on their belly, or lift them up when I bought them, we would see an equal number of teats. So barrows that have been castrated, it usually happens 2 or 3 days after birth. They've been castrated, and then they go ahead and then they're an it from that point on, so they're a barrow. Adult females, once she has a litter of piglets, she will then be considered a sow. So she's a gilt before. Once she has babies, she's a sow. They can have up to 2 litters a year, depending on how hard they push it and what kind of circumstances there is. Oh, quit your fighting. Adult male, if he was intact and still had his testicles, is a boar. And then again, adult male that's been castrated is a barrel. So a young piglet or a shout could be a barrel also. The 2 names we use for baby pigs is shouts and piglets. Sometimes I'll just point things out. If you notice what's happening here with these 2 pigs, they've got plenty of food. Food is not an issue here. This is more about dominance and hierarchy and who's the bigger ones, who's going to be the toughest over the other. And notice it's all with the nose. It's pushing each other out of the way, etc. He's kind of giving up and like, okay, fine, you can just have it. Just think about when you're in your bedroom and you have brothers or sisters or family members, you want them to stay out of your bubble. Pigs can get that certain way too. When pigs give birth, we call it farrowing. In farrowing, they're put into a farrowing crate. So what a farrowing crate is if we had this gilt here and we had basically a chute built around her. She can stand up, lay down, and her babies would have a hot mat. And when you look it up, you'll look up farrowing crate and you can see how that's developed and built. There's also a thing called a gestation crate. A gestation crate is it's a little bit bigger area, but it's just before farrowing to get them used to things and make sure that they're getting the right amount of food, water. The gestation crate is basically where they're pregnant. Gestation means the length of pregnancy. So pigs are pregnant for 3 months, 3 weeks, 3 days. A group of pigs is called a drove. Some people will call them a herd, but the proper term is drove. One thing with pigs, and I've said this before, 270 is kind of our prime target. This pig here is probably pushing 280 about, or excuse me, 260. This is more like a 270, this barrel here. We would normally put them on a scale, or we can use a measuring tape. There is some measurements that we can take on a pig to get pretty accurate actually on the weight of the animal. So 270 is the key. If they're a market, these are market animals, so they're going to be eaten. Then we have breeding animals. Breeding animals, we're going to hit at about 250, 260, she's going to get bred. So the opposite's going to happen to her. So a little bit different. If you look at the definition in her hands, right through here, she's got the nice tip vulva, we've got a long underline, we've got, if you get her to turn around, she's a lot smaller in size. She's born, she's 6 weeks younger than this. So that tells you size-wise, she's going to grow just as fast, but if you look at size-wise, that's 6 weeks difference between these two in age. Feed has been the same, everything's been the same, just the breed is different, and the age at which she was, or how old she is in months.